Hey everyone, it's Connor from Koyfin here. We're excited to introduce our latest feature, My Portfolio, which is focused on tracking real money portfolios and account aggregation. This feature introduces a lot of new functionality inside of Koyfin, including lot level transactions and FX adjusted profit and loss and total returns. Today I'm going to demo the new feature, discuss the new functionality we've created, talk about the development process, and speak a little bit about the future of this product. I've linked our release documentation in the video description for those who are interested, and I'll share a link to our feedback board where you are encouraged to let us know what you think and give us suggestions for future updates as well. This feedback board can be accessed inside of Koyfin in the top right hand of the page, and we have a dedicated tab for My Portfolio. So you should now have a side panel navigation button here for My Portfolio with a wallet icon. If we click on that, we're going to be taken to the creation flow of this feature. At a high level, what My Portfolio solves is the issue of I have multiple accounts, I have no place to aggregate those to see them as one collective portfolio. And we're going to walk through some of these workflows today, as well as discuss some of the workflows we're planning for the future. So to kick things off, we want to create the portfolio first. So I'm going to go ahead and press that here. And this is a brand new creation form. Because there's a lot of new elements to Koyfin, we had to create a new creation form. And this will also be the place where you edit the portfolio as well. So we can see here over on the left-hand side, we'll just discuss some of the things that are going on here and then we can get set up. On the left-hand side, we have the concept of portfolio currency. So now all of your profit and loss items, market values are going to be converted into that single portfolio currency. I am based in the UK, so I'm going to press pounds here. We have the concept of multiple accounts. We'll go ahead and call our account one a name for now. I will call this my taxable account and we'll save that. We'll talk about adding new accounts momentarily. We have a cash position here. I want that to be pounds and we're going to save 500 pounds. And in the middle here with the dialog box, we have a few different ways that we can upload these securities. So number one, as you might be used to in the watch list, we can add tickers manually by hand. We have NVIDIA here. I'm going to add 50 shares, say that I bought it at 125 bucks, and I bought it last week. What's new to Koyfin now is that we can add lots for these transactions as well. You can add the aggregate position if you want. It will be more accurate to add the lots because you have those different purchase dates. So I can press this add lot button here, and I can say that I bought 75 shares at $135 2 years ago, for example. And we can keep going until we've populated all of our lots. Alternatively, we can add other tickers in here as well. If you don't want to add these by hand, we also have the upload CSV function here as well, which I'll walk through in just a second. My portfolio in version 1 is going to be a current portfolio tracker, so there is no place to add historic sales and transactions here. It's only the companies or the positions that you currently own. We've had a lot of great feedback about transactions historically. That is something that we do want to build in this feature and something we spoke about in V1, but we had to limit the scope of V1 to really focus on giving you a great current portfolio tracker with those P&L items and total returns as well. So to upload a CSV, we're going to press this upload CSV button here. In the top left-hand corner, we provide you an example. All we need as mandatory columns are the ticker or ISIN, as well as the quantity. And I would advise adding your cost basis per share and the purchase date as well if you have those. I'm going to drop a CSV file into this one. And when you've dropped in your CSV, we're going to go through a few phases of validation. So you can see here that I've added a bunch of different things, and sometimes there's duplicates in here, which is representing different lots. So you can represent lots in the CSV upload as well. We will sync those and put them under one position. There is one CSV upload per account. So these look good. Let's go ahead and press next. Here, you're going to want to make sure that your CSV columns match up with what we have in Koyfin, which are the template fields. So we can see ISIN here in our CSV, it's called ticker, quantity, quantity, cost, cost, and purchase date. So we'll go next. Everything looks good here as well. So we can now submit that. We're going to start processing that data. And then we have one last final check. Sometimes if you have a security that's listed in France, you want to make sure that it is listed in France. This is your opportunity to do so. Everything looks good here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and import that. And now we populate those rows inside of Koyfin. So we'll create a second account in just a moment, but first I'm going to create this portfolio. One other quick note here as well, if you are someone that tracks a portfolio inside of a watch list in Koyfin, you have this download button here, which will allow you to then upload that into the My Portfolio feature. So now that we've uploaded our CSV, we have all of our portfolio items. There's a few things going on here, and we're going to walk through them all in this video. Up here, we've got various different tabs. We have this quote box up here, and we have a bunch of new columns and data series here as well, focusing on the P&L. So because we have this concept of portfolio currency and mine is pounds, everything is going to be converted to pounds. So we can see here, Meta, we have 25 shares. This 103,000 market value is going to be converted to pounds. You can also see lots here as well, indicated by these chevrons. If I click PayPal, it's going to open up all of that lot information. We'll then show you all the data per the lot, and we'll aggregate that at the parent level as well. You can also expand all of your lots by pressing this button here, and it's going to do that for everything in this profit and loss page. The profit and loss tab is really going to be focused on the P&L, so the profit and loss. And this is going to be the only place where you can see this lot level breakdown, and you can do things like groupings by account as well. In here in the column picker, you're going to have the ability to show performance and security related information, as well as all of your portfolio tools. We've introduced a lot of new tools here, and we'll walk through those shortly. You're also going to be able to group by sector and industry and account when you have multiple accounts in there as well, which we'll show you in just a sec. And you have summary rows here and the ability to download too. Up here on the top of the screen, you have the quote box. This here is going to be your market value, and this will tick live during the day. And here is the 1-day change, your P&L, your cash balance as a weighting and a notional figure, and the number of holdings. And you can drag and drop these as well. In the future, we plan to have more items in this quote box. For now, this is what we're showing. If you want to edit these in the future, you can use this gear icon here. If at any point you want to go back and edit the portfolio, you can do so, and it'll open up that creation form. Additionally, the watch this news feature is very popular in Koyfin. We brought that over to my portfolio, which is now called Portfolio News. And we're going to allow you to tailor a feed based on news, press releases, filings, and transcripts based on the constituents of your portfolio. Now I want to talk about some of these brand new P&L items that we're excited about, but first I'm going to show you how to add a second account so we can see more information on this profit and loss page. To add another account, I'm going to go to Edit Portfolio. We'll click this Add Account button here, and we'll give this one a name as well. We can call it Retirement and save. Now I'm going to upload another CSV for ease of time. So similar to the last one, we go through the process, we match all of the column headers, we come into this phase, and then we submit. In this case, there are a few items I want to change. So LPE is a French champagne manufacturer. I'm going to change that to France. And MC, which is Louis Vuitton, we don't want the US version, we want the French version. Everything else looks good, so we can go ahead and import that now. So now we have two accounts, and I'm going to go ahead and save that portfolio. So when you have multiple accounts in my portfolio, it's going to open up a lot more functionality. If I want to group by account, for example, I can now see my retirement account here and my taxable. Something which previously didn't exist inside of Koyfin was the ability to kind of duplicate a ticker inside of the same watch list. Slightly different behavior with the lot level data here, but for now I can see retirement. I can see I have a Greg's position in my retirement account, and I can also see a Greg's position in my taxable account as well. So same ticker, same table, duplicated in there. If you want to add even more context to this as well, you can use the summary rows, which will allow you to add ranges, percentiles. Here I'm just going to add sum so that I can break down the sum of the market value of each account. I can see £308,000 in the retirement and 194,000 in the taxable. A little tip here with summary rows, if there's ever a summary row that you don't feel is valuable, like the sum of quantity, for example, isn't super useful, if you right click on those, you can actually hide those items there as well. So lastly, before we move on, I want to talk about some of these P&L exhibits here. So to do that, I'm going to ungroup this account here and focus on these columns on the right-hand side. So for a while, people have been asking us to show them the P&L in the watch list tables that they would build to track portfolios all in a single currency. We did that by introducing the concept of portfolio currency in my portfolios, but we knew that wouldn't be enough. For Koyfin investors who invest internationally, it's important to show how that FX relationship between the security and the portfolio currency impact the profit and loss over time. For example, if I in the UK purchased Meta, a US and USD denominated stock, 5 years ago, I would have made a nice profit on that trade, but the relationship between the pound and the dollar over those 5 years will have also had an impact on my profit and loss when I come to sell the position. That is what these columns here show. So profit and loss excluding FX, this is going to be the profit or loss converted to the portfolio currency as of the most recent FX rate. So here we have Chipotle, and we can see it's about £69,000. The P&L from FX is going to be the notional gain or loss from the change in currency conversion since the position was opened. So this is going to reflect the impact of currency movements throughout your holding period. So if I open up these lots for Chipotle here, you can see I purchased most of them in 2022. Over that time, the relationship between the pound and the dollar has resulted in a £5,000 impact on my P&L. So the true P&L, if I was to come and sell Chipotle today and receive pounds, I would get £64,000. But at the trade level, it's about £69,000. So we're showing you that from the start to finish, the whole reflection of the FX impact. So profit and loss is the notional profit or loss for an investment, including the P&L from FX, i.e. after the impact of the currency fluctuation. So you can think of this as the quote unquote true P&L, the amount of cash you would receive, excluding costs for selling a position in your domestic currency. When the security trades in the same currency as the portfolio, the P&L excluding FX and the P&L should be the same. If we look at Greg's here, we can see that both of the sides of the equation are the same. And that is because there is no FX impact when I'm buying in pounds and I'm buying a pound denominated asset. And just something to note here, to produce these data series, you do have to put in the purchase date of the security. Next up, we have total return. So this is something people asked about a lot as well. We want to see the total return at the position level for their securities. So you can see here that for Chipotle, the P&L percentage and the total return are identical. That is because total return factors in the influence of dividend in return in comparison to price return, which does not. Chipotle has never paid a dividend, so there should be no difference between the price return and the total return for these positions. And our version of total return already includes the impact of FX over time. If we go down to Greg's once more, which is a company that does pay a dividend, we can see that the P&L percentage here is about 87%. However, if we include the dividends, it's about 88.75% since we have purchased the stock. Similarly, for Laurent Perrier, 10% return versus a 14% total return. These are the impact of dividends. Something to note here is that total return percentages assume the reinvestment of every dividend, while price return assumes no dividend impact. It's likely that as an investor, your true return is somewhere between those two variables. Nonetheless, having both of these data series at your disposal provides you with more context and understanding. We understand profit and loss now. Let's go over to the exposure exhibits. Exposure breaks down the exposure of the total portfolio in security sector, industry, asset class, and country bases. And when you hover over any of these segments, it's going to break down the weighting, the value, and its color as well. So we go back to security here. We can see that we have a 33% weighting in Chipotle, and it's valued at about £165,000. Over on the right-hand side, we'll break down that information in a table as well, which you can download. And finally, the analysis page. This one is going to be similar to a watch list for most Koyfin users. It auto-populates with all of your positions, and it's going to be the place where you conduct fundamental analysis. So you have the full selection of columns here where you can add multiples and fundamental data. You can convert numbers into various currencies. You have the same grouping and summary rows here. Most importantly, if you spent time building views inside of Koyfin watchlist, you can also import those to your analysis table here as well. So if we go to the views here, select new, import new table views, and we can choose this one here, select your watch list and then choose the view, and you can import that seamlessly. So here I have this multiples view that I've just imported. You can build many more, and you can also add summary rows for things like portfolio weighted average. So you can break down all of these multiples and see what the weighted average of your portfolio is for PE, EV to EBIT, gross profit yields, and so on. So that just about does it for the summary of V1 of my portfolio. The biggest focus for us was really nailing down this concept of having a great current portfolio tracker and allowing for account aggregation, so you can view many accounts in one space. Most of the feedback we've gotten so far has been in line with what we plan to build in V2, which includes performance, historic transactions, previous buys and sells, allowing people to add short exposure, introducing the concept of a benchmark, more exposure exhibits, and a host more. We encourage you to share your feedback and let us know how you find the first version of this, and give us your ideas for what you would want to see in a V2. We're super excited to introduce my portfolio, and it really is just the foundation of what we want to achieve here. As always, you can reach out to us at Koyfin Charts over on Twitter. The Koyfin help desk is help@koyfin.com, or you can drop a comment in the comment section below. Thank you.